Okay, just before we crack into today's video, let me explain how you can help us. More and more Kiwis are waking up to the fact that New Zealand is in big trouble right now. So how can we turn this country around? The answer is through education. What does that mean? Well, it means exposing more and more people to our videos. It's as simple as that. Just click on the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and you'll be subscribed. What happens then? Well, when you subscribe, YouTube sends our videos out to more Kiwis. That's how it works. Subscribing is free. You'll never be charged anything. It's just that simple. So please do it and then enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Just by subscribing, you can play a big part in the solution to fixing New Zealand. Well done, you.
Submission from Judge David Harvey, who's joining us online. David, thank you for joining us. We have you for 10 minutes this morning before the committee, so I'll hand over to you to begin your presentation.
Thank you. My name is David John Harvey. I'm a retired district court judge. I currently hold a practicing certificate as a barrister, and I have a Bachelor of Law degree, Master of Jurisprudence degree, and a Doctor of Philosophy degree. I support the bill, and I believe it should proceed. It's a matter of such importance that I think it should be properly placed before the electorate by way of a referendum.
Well, hi, you beautiful New Zealanders. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why Willie Jackson is Parliament's most notorious serial liar. So what's in this video? This is a continuation of Judge David Harvey's Treaty Bill oral submission, but I'm going to show how Willie Jackson is Parliament's most notorious serial liar, because at the end of David Harvey's submission, Willie Jackson asks him some questions and it all comes out, so watch. Willie Jackson says to Judge David, "You are out of sync with the best legal minds in the country." Answer: no, Willie, Judge David is not out of sync. It was only 40 KCs who signed a letter to kill the bill. The current number of KCs in New Zealand is unclear, as they're appointed for life, but between 1907 and June 2024, 364 have been appointed, the vast majority of those appointed in the last 30 years. So within the period 1907 to 2024 timeframe, there were about 40 years in which no appointments were made. We could safely assume, I guess, that there are several hundred KCs still alive today, yet Jackson says they, quote, "the KCs in New Zealand are unanimous in their opposition to the bill." Later on in his answer to David Harvey, he changes this to almost unanimous, but I say 40 KCs out of several hundred KCs is still a long way from almost unanimous. Wouldn't you agree? Conclusion: everything Willie Jackson says must be fact-checked. You know what? It's really rare to find Willie Jackson telling the truth about absolutely anything. Well, then Jackson goes on to say that Judge David is out of sync with what Jackson calls the creme de la creme of MPs. Creme de la creme, by the way, is just a French phrase that means the best of the best or the very best. So then Jackson names 3 of those MPs. He says are the best of the best: Doug Graham, Chris Finlayson and Jeff Palmer. Oh my goodness. Ironically, these 3 MPs have been widely criticised for their abysmal handling of treaty issues in their time in Parliament. So Willie Jackson chooses the 3 monsters, really, of treaty issues in Parliament. Well, here's Doug Graham. This is written by Alan Duff, who himself is a Maori, and he produced or wrote the script for the movie called Once Were Warriors. Alan Duff says this: "Doug Graham won't go down in history as the man who did so much to settle the long-standing Maori grievances. Instead, he'll be remembered as the white man who sold out his fellow New Zealanders, Maori and non-Maori, to a bunch of brown gangsters and their pale brown thugs." End quote. That's Alan Duff. So what do we say about Doug Graham? Well, he was a train wreck of a minister. What about Jeffrey Palmer? It was Palmer who was the architect of the Treaty of Waitangi Amendment Act 1985. The Treaty of Waitangi Act 1975 only allowed claims forward from 1975, you see. Well, Palmer changed all that. He wanted and got claims back to 1840 through his Treaty of Waitangi Amendment Act 1985. Such a move was an absolute disaster. Until 1985, claims numbered less than 10. Did you know that? After Palmer's amendment, claims rose to 2,034 by 2009. So he was another train wreck of a minister. Journalist and treaty commentator Mike Butler writes, quote, "Jeffrey Palmer must shoulder a very large part of the blame for the out-of-control treaty industry that he did so much to create by his foolish decision to allow tribes to take their claims for grievances all the way back to 1840, way beyond the experiences or knowledge of anybody living and so ripe for malicious fabrication by tribal leaders, revisionist historians, and storytellers. It is hard to believe that any average man of the world would have made such a disastrous decision, and Palmer should apologise to the taxpayer of New Zealand for the $1 billion plus of large unnecessary settlements that have flowed from his act of folly. He should also be stripped of all the perks that currently receive from taxpayers as an ex-Prime Minister. That is the least he could do to reimburse the taxpayer in a tiny fraction of what he has cost them. So you combine Doug Graham with Geoffrey Palmer and you have got an absolute disaster. And there's the reference for where that quote comes from. But that's not the worst guy. Chris Finlayson was the worst of the worst. It's been written of him. Christopher Finlayson was the mastermind behind the theft of New Zealand's priceless foreshore and seabed from public ownership so as to make it available for his iwi friends and ex-clients to claim. Deeply compromised by Ngāi lawyer in its aggressive and dubious treaty claim, Finlayson is the last person who should be entrusted with the handing over the foreshore and seabed to tribes. The deceit, bias and secrecy that he has shown during his term as treaty minister suggests that he is unfit to hold any public office, political, judicial or otherwise. That's Chris Finlayson. So he was an absolute train wreck, and there's the reference where that comes from. So the conclusion we come to is this: Jackson didn't tell the whole truth about KCs. He exaggerated by saying to David, that's Judge David, "You're out of sync with the creme de la creme of legal minds in the country." That was found to be a lie. Then he went on to say that David was out of sync with the creme de la creme of MPs. That was also a lie. Palmer, Finlayson and Graham are the bottom of the barrel of MPs when it comes to treaty issues. So we'd have to conclude that Willie Jackson must get the award for being the biggest liar in Parliament. You know what? It's tragic that so many people in New Zealand would just believe Jackson and take on board what he says is fact. Don't be one of them. Finally, well done to Judge David for not just holding his ground when questioned by Jackson, but pushing back. If anything, Judge David was too easy on Jackson. He ought to have called him out for what he really is. What's that? Parliament's most notorious serial liar. That's what he is.
Thank you, Judge Harvey. We've got a couple of questions. First one from Willie Jackson, then Maori Activists.
Kia ora, Judge. Kia ora, Judge. Judge, you're out of sync with the best legal minds in this country. That you'll be aware of that. The King's Council, the creme de la creme of legal minds in this country, who have come out unanimously against this bill. You're out of sync with the creme de la creme of political leaders in this country, like Sir Geoffrey Palmer, Sir Doug Graham, Chris Finlayson. I just can't reconcile this, Judge, given your background and your status. Where does this put you in terms of the legal fraternity? Because the legal fraternity seems almost unanimously against this bill.
Firstly, Mr. Jackson, not all King's Council are of one mind on this particular point. Point two, Mr. Finlayson made some interesting suggestions in his submission, as I recall. I wonder if he's looked at his watch lately, because in fact, we have daylight saving, which is the way in which time gets changed by parliamentary action. So the suggestion of parliamentary supremacy that he sort of disposes of so rapidly doesn't stand. It may well be that there are differences of opinion, Mr. Jackson. That's what living in a democracy is all about. I have approached this from the point of view of reason. Other people have approached it from the point of view of rhetoric and buzzwords. That's their privilege, of course. We live in a democracy. They have freedom of expression. It bothers me not one whit if I am out of sync with other people, or as you put it. I doubt that I am, but you're entitled to your opinion, as I am to mine.
Absolutely, Judge. Yeah.
Start from Willie and then we'll go to
Yeah,
Harvey.
absolutely, Judge. I concur with that. Would you agree that this is an attack on the Maori TINO RANGATIRATANGA? That has been the constant criticism here. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not. And if you read my submission, you will find that.
Okay guys, that's enough for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Now we need your help with something. This is important. We have produced some great flyers and brochures which we want to get into the hands of all New Zealanders. So we need to go around the mainstream media. They're not going to help. In fact, they're making things a lot worse. So we have to go around them. And we need your help to make this happen. We can't do this without you. So what are we talking about? First, there is our business cards. They're only 3 cents each plus courier to get them to you. Then there is our latest booklet called The Psychology of Takeover, 19 strategies Maori activists are using to take over the country. It's 80 pages and packs a huge punch. So they're cheap, they're $3, and they're absolutely fantastic if you want to get a handle on what's actually happening in New Zealand. Then we have a few thousand of our original Stop Co-Governance booklets left over from my tour in 2023. Remember these? You'll remember we printed 550,000 of these. Well, these are now free because we realized that only about 1/3 of New Zealand houses got this booklet last when I did my tour, and so we want to get to the other 2/3. So if you do a few streets around where you live, that would be absolutely phenomenal, and they are free now. Then we have our MACA, that's Marine and Coastal Act brochure 2, which alert people to the loss of our beaches. You know, we're in danger of losing all the beaches around New Zealand. The text is written by Graham Adams, who's a great author. These are now free. And then we have our beautiful bumper sticker, which we've just made. And why are we doing this? Well, New Zealand's identity is under threat. We know that. First activists have and are still trying to change the name of New Zealand to Aotearoa. We don't want that. We must oppose this. This is rubbish. Where's the referendum saying that we want to change the name of the country? There was none. It was just forced on us. Second, Maori sovereignty flags are appearing more and more all over the place, and they're just treason. So we've got to get these bumper stickers out. So we've printed some awesome bumper stickers. They're $3 each, and they measure 21.5 by 6.5, so you can see how big that would be on your car. To get any of these free products, all you need to do is pay for the courier to get them to you. For the products that cost something, like the bumper stickers or the little psychology booklet, it's the cost plus the courier to get them to you. So to order any of these products, just use this email address, cards@stopcogovernance.kiwi, and we'd love to hear from you. Finally, if you want to access all the videos we've ever made, including all our most viewed and most popular videos, and have them all in one place, which is what people are asking for, then just type in this address into your browser. There it is there, https www.youtube.com/@stopcogovernance, and you'll find it goes straight to our channel. Then what you do is save this address to your computer as a favorite. Job done. Well done. Then you've got them all in one place forever. And all the new ones that are coming in get placed into that address, so you won't miss anything. Okay, last thing, please, oh please, don't forget to subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll get the latest videos straight into your inbox. You'll never miss a video, which is great. You'll link up with like-minded people all over New Zealand, and that's very, very stimulating to have meet up with all these people who think like you. You'll be telling YouTube, I like these videos, and they will respond by advertising our videos to more Kiwis for free. It's incredible what they do, but it just relies on you replying to comments and making comments and liking things and sharing things and activity. That's what it is. It's just activity on our channel. And turning New Zealand around is simply a matter of reaching more Kiwis with the truth. So just click on the subscribe button on the bottom right hand side of your screen. The little yellow arrow is showing you where it is, and you'll be subscribed. Okay, see you next time. You guys are awesome.